All right, Coach, talk about the weekend. A good comeback win against Oregon State, and then maybe one that slipped away against Oregon.
Well, we went on the road, and I thought we came out with an enormous amount of energy at Oregon State. It was a great crowd for Pink Out. Hats off to them and their marketing people for the crowd they had at both gyms, actually. But I thought that, we went down the stretch and pretty much led the game. Led the entire game, and then we had the situation being up 9 with about a minute and a half to go, and some very uncharacteristic turnovers on our part that led to Oregon State having a chance to win it late. But fortunately for us, Leah Galdieri once again saved the Cougs, and just really showed why she is one of the premier freshmen, not only in the Pac-12 but in the country, hitting a big shot the way she did. And then our defense was able to hold late to win at Oregon State. Disappointed in not being able to sweep. That's the expectation now at Washington State, and that's a good thing for us. In the past, we were excited just to get a road win, but not anymore. We want to sweep, and so we did not play well the first half. I thought Oregon played very well. Again, an unbelievable crowd for Pink Out, the loudest crowd I think we've played in front of all year, period, and all that. But second half, I think we reignited our fire, our energy, and really got after them. But the hole was a little bit too big, and they hit some big shots down the stretch when we got it down to 4, and we weren't able to finish. So we lost by 5 on the road, and we're not happy about that. We certainly can do a better job in our execution against the zone. I think that we can rebound a lot better than what we did in this game, and obviously, we've got to be a lot better with our offense. You go back and watch the tape. We took some good shots. We missed some uncharacteristic shots. I don't know what that is, but whatever that is has got to be behind us because we've got a big weekend ahead.
Can you talk about the progression of your defense, definitely in conference play?
Yeah.
The Cougars come into the week leading the conference in steals. You got some critical stops when you needed to at Oregon State at the end of the game to get some stops and allow Leah to hit that shot. And then Oregon, I mean, you played very good defense. It just kind of struggled in the offense. So talk about your defense last couple weeks.
So excited about our defense, and proud of our kids. It's a tough thing for the great majority of basketball players today to buy in on the defensive end. Everybody wants the accolades and they think it's all it's all that for offense. And offense is great too, but you have to have even better defense if you want to be a champion. And right now if you look at our games in conference, we're averaging 60 points. Our opponents are averaging 62. That's how close games are, almost two-thirds of the way through this conference. So that's pretty interesting. But our defense is held. It's been our identity all year. It continues to improve. I think that the one thing that with Leah leading the conference, Galdieri leading the conference in steals, and Donnie being out on the floor more, Taylor, Mariah Cooks, a lot of our freshmen, they're understanding more what the defense is really about, and they're starting to see the passing lanes and seeing the defensive lanes a lot quicker. So we were able to get those steals, and obviously that leads to some fast break opportunities, which were pretty fun to watch in those situations. So excited about defense. I think the biggest thing right now for us is to continue not to give up the second shots. And that was an issue with obviously with Oregon late in the game in particular that I thought, probably if we could have shored that up, we could have still been able to sweep on the road. So we've got a long ways to go. We got to stay more physical inside. I think the front lines that we're going to face here in the next few weeks are going to be the best front lines in the country, obviously, with Utah, Colorado, Stanford, and Cal. So we've got to do a much, much better job defensively all the way around, but rebounding is going to be just unbelievably pivotal at every position.
Looking into this week, you face a nationally ranked Colorado team who's having a great year. Face them on Friday in Boulder, and then you face Utah, who's kind of come on late the last couple weeks in Salt Lake City on Sunday. What do you expect to see out of those teams? What's the approach? You have to keep the defense, right? Starts with your defense again.
Yeah, it starts with our defense. You're exactly right. And we have to know our scouting report for both games because it will be different for both games, and we have to execute it to a T. We can't, we're gonna be challenged because again, all the front lines are very, very good. We're going to have to be able to help inside when we can, but at the same time, we have to recognize where the shooters are on the floor. Both teams have very good shooters, and be able to get out and get a hand up and hopefully disrupt that shot and not allow their three-point shooters in particular to get in rhythm.
Can you talk a little bit about, you haven't seen Colorado or Utah yet, kind of part of the scheduling with the Pac-12 that you only see it. This is the first time, and we saw them last year early in the season. So
Yeah.
can you break them down a little bit
Yeah,
more?
exactly right. You go back and obviously we watched them this year, and both ball clubs are immensely improved. And then you go back and watch last year's games, and it was the first week of January.
Yeah.
So it's almost been a year and a half since we played both teams. Both teams are playing exceptional basketball. I think Utah obviously went through some very tough injuries, but that's a tough group of kids. They've hung together, and they've been willing to just continue to improve and put the losses behind them and look forward. That's very obvious by the way they're playing. They're playing their best basketball right now. Colorado has been nationally ranked all year. They had a huge win over Louisville that I think really propelled them into the national spotlight, and then they've pretty much held their own, so to speak, in the Pac-12. Obviously, they had their issues with Cal and Stanford, but they were good games. UCLA was obviously a good game for them as well. So defensively, I think people don't give Colorado enough credit. I think they get into their offense a lot, but defensively, I think they do a lot of great things with great energy and great dedication on the defensive end that really, I think, disrupts teams and makes you very uncomfortable offensively. They're big. Their front line are big, and they play very, very physical. So, obviously well coached, nationally ranked team. I think they had 8,000 in there the other night, expecting a big crowd. We've got to go in there and play with poise, play our system, get it done defensively, and try to find our rhythm offensively a little bit better than what we did the first half against Oregon.